Hey guys, welcome again. And in today's video, I bring you this beautiful, cute Siberian Blue Robin, which is also called as Blue Nightingale. I've done this with colored pencils on a watercolor background to speed things up, and you'll see it how I did it. So let's get started. So I'm using a Fabriano Artistico heavyweight hot pressed watercolor paper for this, and the reference picture is from unsplash.com. So let's see what colors I have used. This is Cobalt Blue from Sennelier, and I'm also going to use Winsor Blue Red shade for the brighter blues. For all the darker tones, I'm using Payne's Grey and Indigo. And for all the golden yellow parts, I'm using Quinacridone Gold and warm Sepia for the wing, and little bit of neutral tint and Winsor Violet. So this is going to be our palette. Now I'll be taking a very watery wash of Cobalt Blue and I'll go over the entire eye, as the highlight of the eye is not completely white. So I'll just lift off some color from the highlight, and this color will also go in the rim. I'm also adding some Winsor Violet in the rim of the eye, very watery again. And with Payne's Grey and Indigo, I'll be finishing off the base for the beak. Now taking a very watery wash of Cobalt Blue again, I will be covering the head of the bird. Now you will say that why this extra step? See, whenever we are doing colored pencils, most of our time goes into covering up the white grain on the paper. So this will take care of that, and a lot of time is saved when we are doing colored pencils on it. I have many tutorials in my online art school on Patreon, where you'll see me doing this technique of giving a watercolor base to the colored pencil drawing. And this particular project was a fun one, so I have used a lot of mixed media to finish this blue robin. So here I'm just finishing off this base with Cobalt Blue. So now next I'm going to take very watery Indigo. I'll just remove some extra color. And now for the white feathers, as we all know, we just have to concentrate on the shadow areas whenever we are working on a white subject. So instead of just gray, I'm going to take lots of blues. I'm also adding a little bit of phthalocyanine blue. So this will give a nice shine to the white feathers. And we're working completely wet on dry. I'm using a hot pressed paper so that it's nice and smooth for our colored pencil application. And for this you don't require very high watercolor skills, you just need to fill up the white space of the paper. So now I'm taking Payne's Grey for all these darker markings. So we'll just give a base of lighter markings. This is still our first layer in watercolors. So with neutral tint, with indigo and with Payne's Grey, very light washes, these three are very dark colors. I'll be filling up the white bottom of this bird. And right from this stage, I work with lots of strokes for this bird wherever I'm seeing that wing area, feathers area. And for this light brown color, I'm using Quinacridone Gold mixed with a little bit of burnt sienna, and I'll also be using warm sepia for the wing area. This particular bird drawing started out as a fun exercise for myself in my sketchbook, and then I liked it so much that I'm sharing it as a tutorial now. So there is this tiny wing, so I'm just applying some warm sepia, little bit of neutral tint, very watery. And before I started with watercolors, I had given masking fluid wherever there is this white feathers. But later on, I'll be also going over with white gel pen on the wings. As I told you, it was more of a fun and not a serious strictly colored pencil or strictly watercolor tutorial. Just made it fun by using lots of mixed media in this project. And now with this warm sepia, I am just going over the lines for the wings. Same way, I filled up the legs with Helios purple and a little bit of Winsor violet for the shadow areas. And for the claws, I have used very light neutral tint, grey color. So now I go in with the second layer with watercolors, and this is all going to be the dark tones. So I'm using more of indigo and Payne's grey and neutral tint for the second layer. This full length step-by-step tutorial is already published in my online school. So if you're interested in learning these techniques, please feel free to click on the link in the description box below. And now after the watercolor area completely it's dried, I start with my colored pencils. So here I'm going in with blue and black on the eye of the robin. So now the colored pencil layer is more about giving details, which we can very nicely do it with pencils. And with white, I'm just going to work on the highlight. And when we are working with watercolors, the white pencil goes very beautifully on watercolor base. So I'm taking light cobalt turquoise, just giving it a little bit shine on the feathers. I really love this combination of sky blue and light cobalt turquoise. I have a kingfisher tutorial in my online school where these two in combination, they give you such beautiful shimmery effect. Now for the brighter blues, I'm giving this cobalt blue greenish, and always work in the direction of the feathers that it is going. This way you will achieve lots of realism. And with dark indigo, I'm marking all the darker markings on the feathers. And with white pencil, I'm using a Prismacolor white pencil. It's more opaque than the Polychromos white. Also, I'm only using Polychromos, Faber-Castell Polychromos pencil for this bird because I feel they are such a beautiful transparent oil-based pencils which go so well on watercolor base. You will be able to see all the watercolor layers when you're using your oil-based pencils more than your wax-based pencils. So I give lots of layers with these blue pencils, working on the feathers. But now see, this is all just the top layers that we have to work on. The base is nicely covered with watercolors, so this is where the time saving is effective. I'm also giving some grays on the bottom part of the bird. I'm also using warm grays. I'm using warm grays and cool grays wherever there is more of the reflection from the bottom part. And for the leg, I'm using light flesh, medium flesh, and again lots of grays and violets as well. Again, I'm taking gray for the shadow under the uh, just where it is touching the belly of the bird. So here I come with white gel pen on the white part of the feathers. Normally when I just do pure colored pencil project, I don't use white gel pens or acrylic or gouache. I rather scrape out or leave those white hairs. And in the end, I'm also using graphite just to show the shadow on. I just wanted to put this bird on the ground, so I just wanted to show the shadow, and I was not very sure of the shadow, so I started off with graphite, so in case I didn't like it, I would just erase it off. But in the end, I really liked it, and since this was a mixed media project, I went ahead with it. So I hope you learned something from this video, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one then. Bye bye.